Welcome, dwarves. In this video, I'm going to go over as many tips for Deep Rock Galactic as I can come up with. These tips are going to be aimed more towards newer players, and they're mostly things that I wish I knew when I was starting in the game. So let's get started. Pop quiz. What is the #1 killer of dwarves in the minds of Hoxies? It's not Mactera, it's not grunts, it's not slashers, but fall damage. Let's talk about some methods to break fall damage. So there are a few things that you can interact with that will actually completely reset your momentum and break your fall damage. Those are the gunner's zipline, pipelines on on-site refinery missions, or if you're managing to snag a cave angel on your fall in Azure Wield. The biggest tip I can give here is do not try to spam your interact key to interact with any of the things that I just listed. What you want to do is hold it. Deep Rock Galactic allows you to hold the E key, then you don't have to worry about trying to time grabbing something. Just fall, hold E, and you'll hook right onto any of those three objects. This is especially useful in on-site refining with the pipelines, where you can really channel your inner stony rock. That's not all the ways to break fall damage though, we have a couple more. For one, if you manage to snag a ledge with Mantle, it'll completely break your fall damage. This is really difficult because you gotta be close, but again, you don't need to try to time your space input, just hold it as you fall, and you can snag onto any ledge if you're lucky enough. The next method is to land on a teammate's head. As long as you're not on solo, you can try to call over a teammate or just hope to aim and land on top of them. But if you hit the top of a teammate's head, you'll bounce up and it'll break your fall without taking any damage. And then lastly, there are a couple of ways to reduce fall damage, not completely mitigate them. And those are NG's platform, so long as he has the upgrade. And then thick snow when you're on Glacial Strata will actually cushion your fall a little bit. It looks like this. Next up, we have some tips about the map. You shouldn't be lost in Deep Rock Galactic, even though the caves in certain biomes and mission types can be incredibly windy and confusing. The map in Deep Rock Galactic is much better than it appears at first. Couple of tips for the map are: 1, you can zoom out, and you should do that immediately when you open your map in my opinion. 2, you can press spacebar to recenter your character to whichever way you're looking in the map. Play around with this if you don't understand what I mean. The best way I can put this is you'll open your map and then move around the camera inside the map to look directly at the objective or through the dirt that you're trying to get through or whatever. And then you'll press the spacebar and it will center your dwarf to face wherever you're looking in the map. This feature is so nice. Get used to it, you'll be using it a ton. On the topic of the map, use this thing often. You'll often see some greybeards. As soon as they complete an objective or clear out a room, the first thing everybody does is pull out their little iPads to figure out where we're going next. This is especially useful on the driller, since, you know, paths between 2 points can be major shortcuts in Deep Rock Galactic. Alright, one thing that I think is worthy of mention in this little tips video is please look at the hazard level if you're joining a public lobby. The hazard level can be found right here, and it's these little triangles that determine what hazard it is. It happens to me so often since I only play on Hazard 5 that somebody who's very new to the game, you know, total level 10 or less, will join my game and have no idea that it's Hazard 5. You know, they'll go down like 5 or 10 times and then they'll say something like, "Oh wow, this is difficult," and I'll be like, "Yes, this is Hazard 5." And then they'll be like, "Oh, I had no idea." I think that a lot of people just don't realize that when you're joining a game, you can see what hazard level it is, or they just click willy-nilly and don't mind. So please, take a look at the hazard level, make sure you're joining one that you feel comfortable for, and that's about that. Next up, you don't actually need to deposit your inventory into the side of the drop pod or molly before you leave a mission to get credit and XP for those minerals. All you need to do is have them in your inventory when you're getting in the drop pod, and you'll get full credit. In a similar vein, pun certainly not intended, calling in supply drops does not decrease the amount of nitra that you mined. How the game determines XP from minerals mined is actually how much minerals you've picked up in the course of a mission, you and your teammates combined. So calling in a drop pod does not decrease that whatsoever. So go ahead and call in all of the supply drops that you can afford. A little hack with the laser pointer is you can press your interact key, for me it is E, to place a marker wherever your laser pointer is currently pointed. This is a little white dot that you can see anytime you pull out your laser pointer, and you can also see it on your map. I find this most useful when I'm playing Driller and want to get myself to some high up minerals or maybe a fossil that's way up on the wall. I'll set a marker and dig into the wall, that way I have something to dig towards instead of just guessing and trying to figure out where I'm going to come out. Next up, make sure you buy all of the upgrades available to you in the armor page. You should really do this with your entire loadout because as you can see at the bottom here, there are some unlockables that are gotten by purchasing everything in the upgrade tree. I strongly recommend you hurry and buy everything in the armor tab though, just because that one will actually give you increased maximum health. Very nice. Hey guys, if you weren't aware, YouTube doesn't make your channel eligible for monetization until you have at least 1,000 subscribers, and I'm not quite there yet. We're really getting close to the goal now, and it would be nice to have YouTube throw me a few dollars here and there for the effort and time that I put into these videos. So thank you for watching, and like I said, please click subscribe. You have no idea how much that helps me. Thanks. One massive tip I have is if you are exploring a new area, whether you're just walking into an area of a large cave that you haven't been in before, or you're like just breached into a brand new open expanse, you should always look up. You can look down to check if there's a pit in front of you, but immediately then look up, make sure there are no leeches. You want to get a map of what's above you. Could be a pack of Mactera, and there might just be 15 leeches ready to get you. Try to be aware of this. It helps save you from leeches a lot without needing heightened senses. The next tip I have is use your power attack often. It's free, costs you nothing, no ammo, it's just on a simple cooldown that can be halved in the equipment terminal, and it does a ton of damage. Your power attack is so useful, whether it's mining a 2-hit terrain in one attack, or just destroying the health bar of a glyphid. This is one of the most powerful attacks in your kit, especially against oppressors, so make sure you use it frequently to get its full value. Next up, a big one that saves me a ton of time, and you'll very frequently see it in Hazard 5 missions when a lot of people are playing that know what they're doing. The tip is to collect all throwable items, like large items, gunk seeds, or any kind of gem that you carry around. Throw them all to the lowest point in the cave, that way you don't have to bring Molly all over the place to try to collect them all. Throw them all to one place, usually the lowest point in the cave, that way they bounce down there naturally. And then call Molly down at the end, and you can deposit everything, easy as that. This is especially helpful with gunk seeds since you have to get like 12 of them. You just toss them all into a pit, call Molly down, and you got all of them waiting for you. If things are starting to go awry in a mission, or things are just getting intense, you've lost a lot of health, teammates are down, I see a lot of new players absolutely start panicking. And it's kind of understandable. But the best thing to do in any situation where things are looking a little rough is find red sugar. In almost all scenarios, what you want to do when you're low health is immediately get to red sugar or get to a safe resupply. If you've just been revived on Hazard 5, you can die in essentially one hit to most enemies, even though you've been revived and you get that little bit of health plus a full shield. It's super important that you get your health back up before you start trying to help your teammates or do anything else. This one's a big one, and it's really just a common courtesy thing that you've probably picked up on already in Deep Rock, and that is to say R before you press any buttons to end the mission, start events, or anything of that nature. Make sure you check if your teammates are ready. My rule is usually if the majority of people say R, I'm free to start it. So that's a simple and sweet one, but it's very much a faux pas in Deep Rock to not do this. Now you're probably already drinking beers at the bar before you go into missions anyways, but make sure you're getting the buff beer before you go into your next mission. One thing not many people know about the buff beer is they actually give twice the effect that they say they do in the bar. As you can see, this one, the Red Rock Blaster, says that it increases your health by 30%, when it actually increases your health by 60%. This has been in the game for a long time, and it seems like a bug, but nobody's really sure if they're gonna fix it or not. So take advantage of it while you can. You can see that my base health is 125 here in the equipment terminal. So drinking a Red Rock Blaster should theoretically increase that to 162 if it's boosting my health by 30%. But it actually increases it all the way up to 201, which is 60% increase. So yeah, don't forget to drink your buff beers. And for my final tip, and this one's going to seem a bit cliche, but make sure you have fun. Deep Rock Galactic is really one of the most fun games I've played in my life. I cannot stop playing, the community's amazing, and every time I go in, I'm always having fun. And this game keeps me coming back for more every single time I play. It is important to have fun in Deep Rock though, so I do hope you heed this tip. There's no reason to get frustrated. If you're downing a lot, maybe just decrease the hazard a little bit. This game is just so customizable to your experience, whatever you're looking for. Fun with friends, fun alone. It can be challenging on Hazard 5 or Elite Deep Dives, or you can reduce it all the way down to Hazard 1 and just have yourself a casual mining expedition. I hope this was able to teach you something new, help you get a little bit better at Deep Rock. Thank you for watching and enjoy the caves of Hoxie's Rock and Stone.